So the last time we had art class, we drew our candelabras. Today we're going to add value and color our candelabras in. Now there's a few different ways to do that. If you just have a pencil at home, you can just use a pencil. It's kind of, when you use a pencil, it's kind of like a silvery color anyway. And a lot of our candelabras are that silvery gray color. If you have crayons or markers, you can use those too. But you're thinking about there being a highlight, a mid-tone, and a shadow, just like we talked about when we talked about value in art. And the highlight is going to be the white spaces on your candelabra, these little touches of white color where the light's reflecting off of it. That's your highlight. Your mid-tone is going to be the color of the candelabra itself. In this case, it's silver. And your shadows are going to be the really dark parts. They're usually like right along the edges or underneath the shapes of your candelabra. So in order to do that with our pencil, I need to pick where my light's coming from. If I'm making an imaginary light, if I'm holding an imaginary light from the right and it's coming in and shining down on my candelabras, that means my highlights are going to go on the right and my shadows are going to go on the left. So when I go to shade this in, if I'm using my pencil, I want to just very lightly figure out where I'm going to leave everything white for my highlights. And then I'm going to try and shade this in with my pencil. But I want to leave my highlights white. I'll show you on this one here. I want my highlights to go on the right-hand sides of things. And I'm going to just shade lightly with my pencil. I don't want to go too dark yet because I'm not making shadows. I'm just making a mid-tone. I'm taking each individual shape and making sure the highlight's on the right side of it. This triangle, highlight's going to go on the right side of it. There, I left my highlight. Okay, after I have my mid-tone shaded in with pencil, look at my candelabra is starting to take some shape already. I'm going to go and I'm going to add some shadows, and my shadows are going to be on the left sides of things. So to add my shadow, I want to go really hard with my pencil, and just like when we practice shading our pumpkins and our circles, we want to lighten it up as we get closer into the center of that shape. We want to make it look like it's fading. So the left sides of things are going to be really dark. I'm going to make the bottoms of some of my shapes really dark too. But I'm going to keep the right side nice and light colored. Okay, and you're going to do this to the whole candelabra. This is probably going to take some time. If you're using a crayon or a colored pencil, you're doing the same thing. If you're using a marker, you might have to hatch when you're shading. And we had talked about that in one of our videos, where instead of coloring back and forth, you can't make a marker darker. You just have to add more lines. So if I was using a marker, I would have to leave my highlight, make some lines. These are called hatch lines. And then to go back and add my shadow, I would cross hatch, but I wouldn't cross hatch all the way. I would just go a little bit on one side of it. It's very hard to do this with a marker, but if that's what you've got, or if that's what you want to try to challenge yourself, then go ahead and do it, because it can be fun. Leave your highlight, cross hatch your shadow. Okay, have fun shading your candelabras in.